Especially on motorcycle trips, like maybe more so than car trips, you can find yourself in some pretty desolate places where maybe you don't have cell phone service or whatever, right? And I also just think like having a good understanding of the machine underneath you, like kind of emotionally connects you to the bike a little bit more too, and like maybe gives you a little bit more trust in it and makes you a more confident rider too.
When I ride cross country with like a group of guys, there's always that little bit of comfort that like, oh, at least one of these guys knows more than I do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Maybe I know something that this guy doesn't know, but this guy knows more than I know. And I brought some tools and he brought some tools and he brought some tools. And maybe between all of us, we got whatever, all the tools.
Right?
Um,
Hopefully you got enough zip ties.
oh, yeah. I've used a lot of zip ties.
That is the one thing I always tell people to pack in their saddlebags is zip ties, because you just never know.
And hose clamps. Hose clamps and zip ties.
Yeah, you can do a lot of things with hose clamps and zip ties. It was so funny. I remember one year I was racing in Flat Out Friday, and like right away in the morning at like 8 a.m. you got to line up to check in and like get your bike in and everything. And a bunch of us locals were like, yeah, I mean, it's cold, but like whatever, we're used to it. And there were a bunch of dudes from California standing in line. They were just like, what the fuck is this? Like, why do you guys live here?
Oh no, I'm like there with everything. Like I'm gloves. I'm like in my jacket zipped up and my arms inside and I'm just shaking to death. And other dudes are just like carrying boxes of shirts into the venue with just no shirt on. And I'm just like, oh no jacket on, just a short sleeve shirt on. Same thing in New Jersey. They had a show up there in New Jersey. It was in January.
Oh yeah.
And we could barely get from the trailer into the venue without freezing to death. And there's guys like riding up on their motorcycle. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a special breed. But I mean, that's why those shows are so awesome, because like for the people that live there, you're going crazy.
There's nothing else to do.
Yeah, you're like, man, I haven't ridden a motorcycle in like 4 months and I miss it,
And it's crazy that that's like the birthplace of Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I will say this, people have a lot of time to work on their motorcycles.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's something that I've realized about moving here to Phoenix. Obviously, the seasons are so flipped, right? Like, it's so hot in the summertime here that you ride your bike less in the summertime. You can still ride, but you got to be, like, smarter about it. But, like, in Wisconsin, in the wintertime, when you couldn't ride, that's when you were working on all your projects,
yeah,
right?
You tear it down.
Yeah, exactly. And here... I was like, that was what I thought I would do, but now my garage is too hot. It's like unbearable just to be in the garage in the summertime. So I'm like, well, shit, now what? When I was doing the Iron Angels, I had a lot of adults come to me and be like, man, like, I want to learn all this stuff too. Do you ever do this for adults? And I was like, no, sorry. Like, I'm spending so much time with the kids, right? Like, this is my primary focus. But again, like, that's kind of what inspired me to do the She Knows Moto stuff, because I realized like, a lot of people out there are like pretty hungry for this information, but they're just like, maybe, I don't know, like too afraid to tinker on their own bike and like,
well, that's the thing.
If
you buy a motorcycle and then you start fucking with it and then it doesn't run, then you can't ride it. Then you got to pay somebody to fix it. And, it's like, unless you know some guys that are all going to get together and get a garage together and all teach you how to work. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. And I always tell people, I'm like, if you can have like your daily, and then if you can buy like a cheap shitty bike
and just work on it
and practice on that, that's like the best case scenario. But I know not everybody like has the means to do that, but
I will give a little hint of advice to anyone out there. Motorcycles that don't run are really cheap.
Mm-hmm. It was just a couple weeks ago here in Phoenix. I was pushing my luck a little bit, and I was trying to like rush off someplace I had to be, and I was like, oh, I'll get gas on the way home, I'll be fine. And nah, I needed to get gas on the way there. And it was like during rush hour on the 10, so like tons of traffic, like 6 lanes.
Nothing worse than that.
Oh man, I felt it, right? Like all of a sudden, like I'd give it throttle and there was nothing there, and thankfully right away I was like, I know what's happening. So I had to like split across 6 lanes, and I got off on the nearest exit, and I got like 3/4 of the way up the exit, and then it just completely died. I was like, damn it, So I pulled over like as much as I could, and all of a sudden, literally like 10 seconds later, I hear another bike. And I look up, I'm like, what the heck? Look behind me, and there's some dude on a big bagger, and he was like, you all good? And he's like, I was like, no, like I ran out of gas. And there was a gas station like just down the road, but I couldn't get to it, So he's like, all right, give me 2 minutes. And he took off and bought me a gas can, filled it up. And like, he's like, no, like, don't give me anything for it. Just return the favor to the next person you see. Right.
Yeah.
And like, that's what it is. It's all about, it's like this culture. Cause like we've all been there. Like we've had to deal with something, and like, we all want each other to be happy because it's such an awesome thing. And like, we've been through it. So yeah.
It's kind of I would say there's a lot of cultures where that is like coming back. The pay it forward type thing is coming back. But in the motorcycle community, that is like a standard.
Oh, yeah.
That has just always been a thing. You help somebody out and then they, just pass it on down.